All right, so today we're going over my steps on how to learn a language, and this is from someone who did it. A little bit of background, just give myself some credibility. High school, middle school, college, I took Spanish classes, did not know it fluently at all. Did really poorly in those classes, wasn't a fan of kind of how the language was taught. After that, I took on to learn the language myself, and now I teach in a bilingual classroom, which means I am teaching history and financial literacy fully in Spanish to native Spanish speakers. So I spend 6 hours a day now speaking in Spanish Monday through Friday. So I would say I have learned Spanish well enough to call myself fluent. So these are the steps that I took. And really, it's a simple kind of three-step system that anyone can follow. So the first step I have laid out here is learn the 1,000 most used words. Now, you go online and you're going to see a bunch of different ranges, anywhere from 60 to as much as 90% of conversation is using these 1,000 most used words. So having those down as kind of your basis, as your starting point, I think is a great first step to learning a language. While you're learning the language or learning the 1,000 most used words, you should also be focusing on the grammar. So grammar is commonly seen as just conjugation, right? How do I say things in the past, present, future, and conjugate it to person? But you should also be thinking about grammar as syntax, right? So for example, Spanish, our adjectives, our syntax is different. In English, it's the red chair. In Spanish, it's la silla roja. So how do they order their adjectives, their objects? How do they use prepositions? Is it different, right? Every language has their differences, which makes them their own individual language. So grammar is kind of understanding what makes that language different and how does it operate. All right. And the last is interact through the four domains. The four domains of a language: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. You should be using every one of those each day that you can to better understand the language. So what I really like to do is kind of liken this to learning a sport, right? If I just took someone who's never seen basketball before and I go and I drop them off at a basketball court with a basketball, they'll have no clue what to do, right? So I believe that learning the top 1,000 most used words is like learning the basics of the sport: how to shoot, how to pass, how to dribble. And then learning the grammar is learning the rules. You can't step out of bounds. You can't pick the ball up and run around with it. You have to stay dribbling. Once you know those, then you're ready for our third step, which is playing in a game. All right, so now that you have the basics down, you know how to shoot, pass, you know the rules, you can start playing 5-on-5, 4v4, and that's kind of where your skills are really going to develop and you'll become a better player. Our skills are developing with language, not in these first two steps. These are the basic entry points to play the game. Now, once we know those, we can start reading articles in Spanish, reading books in Spanish, listening to movies, listening to podcasts, speaking with people in Spanish, journaling in Spanish, right? Whatever it is, our interaction with the language is really what sets our levels up into the clouds, all right? So learn these first two, get those down, get your grammar right, get your 1,000 words right, and then just start using the language as much as humanly possible. Any questions? Feel free to drop them down below. Thanks for coming out.